Friends, today's story begins with a question that might have also come to your mind. What do we actually get by studying computer science CS? And to answer this question, we have to go back to a very old time when there were no smartphones, no laptops, and no internet. Just imagine, in that era people used to do calculations too, but those calculations were very difficult. So humans thought of making a device that could understand numbers and do calculations quickly. So the very first thing that came was the Abacus, which was used around 5,000 years ago in China and the Middle East. It was a simple frame with hanging beads in it, which we could move back and forth to add, subtract, and multiply, just like how we use a calculator today. The only difference was that it was completely mechanical and had to be operated by a human. Then came the time of the 17th century, when a French scientist Blaise Pascal built the first mechanical calculator, called the Pascaline. It used gears and wheels, and you could put numbers in it and add them up, but this was also very basic. After this, a German mathematician Gottfried Leibniz made further improvements and built a calculator that could also do multiplication and division. But friends, all these machines needed a human to operate them, and for every new problem you had to physically set the machine. This was a long and tiring process, but these small efforts built a big foundation on which later big scientists worked. Now we move forward to the 19th century, where a man came named Charles Babbage, and he is called the father of computers because he gave the concept of a machine called the analytical engine. And this was the first general-purpose computer, meaning it could solve any kind of mathematical problem. The only condition was that you program it. Yes, friends, the concept of program first came here, and to program this machine, there was another brilliant person, Ada Lovelace, who was Lord Byron's daughter, and she wrote for the first time that this machine can not just process numbers, but also symbols and music, and that is why she is called the world's first programmer. Just imagine, in the 1800s a lady had thought that in the future a machine would handle not just numbers, but all kinds of information, and today we are exactly doing that. Now we come to the 20th century, and this is the era when computer science began to take its real shape. During the two world wars, people had a strong need for complex calculations, especially for ballistic missiles and code breaking. So during this time a mathematician named Alan Turing came, who is also called the father of artificial intelligence today. He gave the concept of the Turing machine, which was a hypothetical device that could follow any algorithm. He also proved that there are some problems that no machine can ever solve. This meant that computers also have their own limitations. But the most important contribution was breaking the Enigma machine, which helped the Allies win the war. After that, in the 1940s, the first electronic digital computer came whose name was ENIAC. It was very big, filling up an entire room, and it used thousands of vacuum tubes, which were like light bulbs. But these machines used to get very hot and would often break down, but these machines showed the way. And then came the era of the 1950s and 60s, when transistors replaced vacuum tubes. Transistors were smaller, cheaper, and more reliable. This technology made computers smaller and greatly increased their speed. In this same era, integrated circuits, ICs, came, in which thousands of transistors came onto one small chip, and this was the turning point, from where computer science was no longer just a part of mathematics or physics, but began to emerge as a separate discipline. Universities started opening computer science departments, and people started studying it as a science. Because now the question was not how the machine works, but the question was what tasks we can give to the machine and how to make it better. Now we come to today's era, when computer science has become a very big and fascinating field. But to understand it, we need to understand the subjects inside it. And this is the place where we get our roadmap. So the very first and fundamental subject is programming or coding. This is the medium through which we explain our thoughts to the computer, just like we speak in Urdu or English. Similarly, the computer understands its own language called binary, which is a combination of just 0 and 1. But we find it difficult to speak in 0 and 1. So we use programming languages like Python, Java, or C++. These languages allow us to write instructions, and the computer understands them and does the work. Learning programming means learning the skill of problem solving, how you break a big problem into small steps, and then tell those steps to the computer. And this skill is the foundation of every CS subject, because whether you study data structures, or operating systems, or artificial intelligence, everywhere you have to write code. After programming comes the subject of data structures and algorithms. This is the subject that teaches you how to organize your data, so that you can access it quickly and perform effective operations on it. Like if you have 1,000 books, How do you arrange them? Do you put them in a stack? Or do you arrange them alphabetically in a queue? Or do you divide them into branches like a tree? These are all data structures, and algorithms are the steps we make to process data, like the method of finding a book. If the books are arranged alphabetically, then we use the binary search algorithm, which is fast. And if they are not arranged, then we have to do a linear search, which is slower. The purpose of this subject is to learn to write efficient programs, which work in less time and less memory. Because in today's era, there is a lot of data, and we want our program to be fast. That is why this subject comes in the core of computer science and is given great importance in every interview. Then we come to computer architecture and operating systems. In computer architecture, we understand what the physical structure of the computer is like, how the CPU works, how memory stores data, and how input-output devices interact. This teaches us the anatomy of the computer, just like a doctor learns the structure of the body. Similarly, we should know the structure of the computer so that we can write better programs and operating systems like Windows, Linux, or Mac OS. These are the software that manage the computer hardware and give us an easy interface. It decides which program will run when, how memory will be allocated, and how files will be stored. If you understand this, then you will know what process is running in the background when you run any software. And if an error comes, then what it means. This subject gives you the driver's seat of the computer where you can control the whole system. Now let's talk about networking and databases. Networking teaches us how computers talk to each other, like how the internet works, how data packets travel, what IP addresses are, and what protocols like HTTP, TCP/IP are. In today's era, everything is connected. Whether it's a smartphone, smart TV, or cloud servers, everything is part of a network. And if you understand this, then you can understand why cybersecurity is important and why data privacy is a big issue. And database teaches us how to store, retrieve, and manage data, like your school records, bank transactions, or social media posts. Everything is stored in a database. We learn SQL, structured query language, which is the language to talk to the database, so that we can filter data, sort it, and do analysis. Both of these subjects are the backbone of today's digital world, because if there were no networking, we wouldn't be able to use the internet. And if there were no databases, we wouldn't be able to store so much data. And now we come to the most exciting part, which is artificial intelligence and machine learning. These are the fields where computer science goes beyond its limits. Here we teach computers to learn on their own, identify patterns from data, and make predictions. Like you must have seen that YouTube suggests you those videos that you like, or Google Translate translates from one language to another. All this is happening because of AI and machine learning. In this subject, we study algorithms like neural networks and deep learning, which are inspired by the structure of the human brain. Although this seems very advanced, its foundation is the same programming, data structures, and mathematics, especially probability and statistics. That's why we first strengthen the basics, so that in the end we can reach these more interesting topics. And one more important subject is software engineering, which teaches us how to plan, design, test, and maintain big software projects. Because writing a good program is one thing, but making good software that can run for years and on which other people can also work, that is a completely different skill. In this we learn teamwork, version control, like Git, and development methodologies, like Agile, which are very important in the industry. Now the question arises, what is the benefit of studying so many subjects? Meaning, why do we study computer science? So friends, its answer is very simple. Computer science is not just about computers, it is about computation. It is a systematic approach to problem solving. In today's era, every field is connected to computer science, whether it is medicine, where MRI machines and robotic surgeries are happening, or agriculture, where drones are used for crop monitoring, or finance, where algorithmic trading is done. Everywhere computer science is being used, and the most important thing, computer science teaches you logical thinking. You are taught how to break a big problem into small parts, how to find patterns in it, and then how to design a step-by-step solution. This skill is not just useful for computer work, but helps in solving every problem in life, whether it is home budgeting, or travel planning, or any other difficulty. Computer science gives you computational thinking, which is as important in today's world as reading and writing. That's why we study this subject, so that we can understand the world around us better, make better contributions to it, and create better opportunities for our careers. So friends, this story of computer science is a journey, which started from the Abacus, and today has reached AI and machine learning. And this journey is not over yet. Rather, new inventions are happening every day, like quantum computing, blockchain, and bioinformatics. You are about to become a part of this journey, and that's why in this orientation class we have given you a bird's eye view, so that you know which jungle you are coming into, and you also have a map. Now in the coming days we will study these topics in detail, but always remember, the most important tool of computer science is your brain. Programming languages will keep coming and going, technologies will keep changing, but problem-solving skills, logical thinking, and curiosity, these things will always keep you relevant. So get ready, because this journey is difficult, but also very enjoyable, and I am your teacher. I will help you in every difficulty. You just have to keep your mind open and keep asking questions, because in computer science the most important thing is to ask questions, and then to find the answer to that question. So let's begin this interesting journey.